It is easy to stand against things, but finding things to stand for is much more important. Values are the principles that determine how we live our lives, the causes that we support, and the friends we choose to have. Our values are how we determine value, how we differentiate between options. Otherwise difficult decisions can be made easy by knowing one's values for precisely this reason. So, now we move on to my values. Firstly, moderation. I firmly believe that extremism of any kind in pursuit of any cause is dangerous to everyone. Moderation is the first of the virtues, as it is necessary to achieve both the stability and changeability needed to succeed. Moderation in thought is most important to me personally, as it gives me the ability to calmly and reasonably consider the perspectives of others, and to accept when I'm wrong. Since the beginning of my education, I have time and again been made to expand my views and accept that I am wrong about something. Something I would not be able to do if I were more set in my ways and less moderate. Second is knowledge. Though no less important than moderation, I was really torn here between knowledge and wisdom, but decided to go with knowledge because I hardly have the necessary experience for pretenses of wisdom. Knowledge to me is more than simply facts and figures. It is understanding the true reason for why things are. Perhaps my strongest intrinsic motivator is my love of knowledge. I want to be right. I want my beliefs and ideals to match up with the real world, and the only way to ensure that is to know and understand the real world. Next is honesty. While honesty to others is certainly important and is often what first comes to mind with honesty, I find it as less significant than honesty to oneself and honesty in one's actions. In explaining the prior value, I touched on what honesty to the self is. It means accepting the truth of the world as it is without lying to oneself. The most horrible truth is still preferable to the most pleasant lie, because in the end, it is the truth that will ultimately win out when reality reasserts itself. Honesty in action is ensuring that one's acts conform to one's ideals. Walking the walk after you talk the talk, so to speak. The opposite of this is, of course, hypocrisy, which is one of the worst forms of dishonesty, and the one that I most dislike. Next is empathy. Empathy is what allows us to understand and appreciate one another. It is impossible to inspire true loyalty in friends and followers, impossible to lead in any meaningful way without empathy. Empathy allows one to fully understand the wants, needs, and concerns of others so that these can be addressed. It involves the humility to understand that sometimes what makes sense to you might not apply to someone else. Empathy. Empathy is one of the most difficult virtues to master of all of these, because it truly requires an ability to stop thinking about oneself first, which is always difficult. But the rewards, which are a true understanding of the people around you, which allows you to make better decisions, are, I think, more than worth the difficulty. And finally, last but not least, is the highest of the virtues as far as I'm concerned, the ultimate goal that we should all pursue: justice. Everything that I have mentioned already feeds into justice. To be just, one must be moderate, which allows for understanding, knowledgeable to know what is right, honest to remain constant, and empathic to know how to achieve the best possible outcome for everyone. To be just is to seek perfection, or at least as close to perfection as is possible. There are other perspectives on what it means to be just, but as far as I am concerned, the only way to achieve true justice is to ensure that the best possible outcome is achieved.